Today's session will be okay. So should we start, Melody and Krishnan?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, right. So my name is Sumit Kanu and I'm the director of Railway Academy. You can see a logo on the right hand side bottom. So we represent a training organization which is working very closely with University of Birmingham, Dubai to promote their master's program in railways system engineering and integration. And on behalf of University of Birmingham, Dubai and Zenith Railway Academy, I welcome all of you to this masterclass on AI in railway system engineering. So today, with the experts from University of Birmingham, Dubai, we'll be navigating through AI applications in railway engineering. We'll cover case studies on AI-driven infrastructure asset management, and also we'll be delving into insights uh, about their MSc curriculum and MSc program, uh, which they're launching in the month of October. The classes would commence. So we wanted to showcase the program to all the people who are interested in building up knowledge in the area of railway technologies. So we'll also cover what are the career opportunities coming up in the evolving railway sector. So these are the key topics we'll be covering today. And before we proceed, I have a brief introduction about my organization, Railway Academy. So we are an edtech company based in India and are working with various institutions of repute such as University of Birmingham, then IIM Kashipur, IIT Madras, IIT Delhi, and couple of more universities. We work we specialize in training, and we have 50 plus programs on various railway technology related topics, be it ETCS, rolling stock, rail cybersecurity, AI applications, CBTC. So we have a good portfolio, which I would request you to check out if you're looking at learning about new topics. Going forward from here, the objective of this masterclass are knowledge sharing by renowned faculties from University of Birmingham. Second, we wanted to create awareness about our MSc program in railway system engineering, about which our experts would be talking after the session on AI is concluded. Third, we wanted to talk about how UAE and Middle East is creating high growth career opportunities for rail professionals. So for this particular masterclass, all the people who are attending are primarily from the railway sector, working in various domains. So I believe and I'm hopeful that all the three objectives of this masterclass will be valuable for you. Going forward, the session has been constructed. We'll start with the AI applications in railway engineering. The session will be taken by Melody ma'am and Krishnan. Then we are also going to be showcasing case studies on AI-driven infrastructure asset management. After these two sessions are concluded, we will talk about insights about our MSc program and how it is relevant for working professionals. Last but not the least, we'll talk about career opportunities in the evolving rail sector. So this is how the entire sessions have been formulated. Now there are a few rules we have built for today. So if you have any questions or queries, please type in your questions and queries in the chat box. I will take them up at the appropriate intervals, or once the session is concluded, we'll take the questions. Secondly, there will be a small break at 8 p.m. right after 50 minutes from now. We would encourage people to switch on their cameras while they ask a particular question from our experts. And the recording of this session will be available on our YouTube channel of Railway Academy, uh, whose link I'll share in the chat box. So you may subscribe the channel, and this recording will be available in another 24 to 36 hours. So I'll invite our experts, Professor Krishnan and Professor Melody, to start the session. So I'll stop the sharing, ma'am. You may share your presentation.
Yes. Okay, is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be among all these railway experts from different countries on a Friday afternoon or morning, depending on where you are. And the topic that we are talking about today is AI in railway systems engineering, which me and my colleague Krishnan, we will explain. So a little bit about me. I am currently an associate professor at University of Birmingham, the Dubai campus. I'm the program director of the MSc that we have, Railway System Engineering and Integration, which if you're interested towards the end of today's session, we will talk about it. I'll do a couple of other activities for the passion of railway, let's say. So I'm the co-chair of a special interest group, which is focused on railway transportation at the WCTR, which is World Congress of Transport Research. I'm a technical committee member of Global Rail Conference, which is going to be held at the end of September in the UAE in Abu Dhabi. So if you are interested, please feel free to join. And they have an innovation award, which is they give prizes up to 1 million dirham, which would be I mean, you can convert it in your own currency, but it's a big prize. So if you're interested, just search for Global Rail 2025 and you can see the different aspects. So the time for call for papers is already finished and the reviews is nearly done. So it's just innovation competition, which the deadline is the end of July. So feel free, if you're interested, send your innovative ideas and they would be reviewed and the winners will receive a good prize. The topics that we are going to talk about today is first, it would be good to have a good understanding of current status of railways worldwide to see where AI can help. Then we go to AI. I mean, we have heard about AI. So what exactly it means? What are the different aspects of AI? Then I will review AI applications in the railway system. And then my colleague Krishnan, which is from our UK campus, he would explain about some railway projects in the region and also case studies of these AI applications. So about some statistics about railways worldwide. I've taken this statistic from UIC, which is International Union of Railway. I'm sure you've heard of. This is based on their Synopsis 2024, which if you have not used, I mean, it's very easy to find. It's a PDF, 2-3 pages, and you have the statistics of all the railways in the world, different categories, you know, passenger kilometer, passenger freight, ton kilometer, percentage of electrified lines, double track. It's very good. I mean, if you don't have, I mean, you can easily find it with a quick search of UIC railway synopsis. If not, I can at the end, please ask. I mean, I will put it in the chat. So based on this statistic, I emphasize on this because if you use other sources, it might be a bit less or more these numbers. But according to this reference which I mentioned and is freely available online, there are over 900,000 kilometers of railway lines in different continents and countries of the world. More than 249,000 kilometers are double track or more, which is about 27% of the whole railway lines in the world. About 30% of these lines are electrified. In 2024, over 24 billion passengers were transported by rail. I mean, there's some noise, Sumit, if you can. Yes, thank you. Over 24 billion passengers were transported by railway, which is huge number. If you consider passenger kilometers, 2.9 trillion passenger kilometers, which is huge number. over 9 billion tons of freight were transported by railways and 9 trillion freight kilometer. So we need these numbers when we want to talk about AI applications in railways, because we take into account all these extensive railway networks and huge operations and maintenance that is needed. Briefly seeing how these passenger transportation is divided worldwide. We know that the Chinese railways, which is the acronym is CR, transports the major amount of these passenger kilometers, which we just mentioned, followed by Indian Railway, Japanese Railway, and you can see the rest of the countries. It's obvious why, because the population is huge. I mean, they have a vast network of conventional railway, high-speed railway. So the kilometers high, the population passenger is also high. So it results in a huge number of passenger kilometers, say for Indian Railway. Regarding ton kilometer, the country, the top 3 countries that transport freight, that have the highest percentage of freight transportation are RZD, which is the Russian Railways, then Chinese Railway, and then Association of American Railroads, which they have different private companies, and they transport a huge number of freight. So these are top 3 countries or railways in the world that transport freight. I mean, you can see the other top 10 railways in the diagram as well. So the majority is transported in Asia Pacific and Middle East, then America, then Russian Federation, and the rest is, relatively or smaller, although, in total, it's a big number. If in terms of length of lines, the top 10 network, according to network sites, the top 10 countries, the first is the American Association of Railroads, which has close to 150,000 kilometers of railway lines, then followed by Chinese Railway and Russian Railways. And then you can see the other countries. And here is the percentage if you want to compare different continents. The first one again is Asia, and then followed by Europe, America, and the other ones. High-speed traffic, which is, one of the new technologies that railway has. The majority by far is by Chinese Railway, which dominates the passenger kilometer, and then comes Spain, ADIF, and then Japanese Railway. Again, as you're interested, you can refer to that railway synopsis, which is freely available online. If you are working for a railway company that is a member of UIC, you can have access to their paid statistics, which has more details. But the free version, as I said, the synopsis is available for everyone on their UIC website. And a couple of just diagrams to see how different countries use railways. This diagram shows annual distance traveled by inhabitant of a country. So the darker blue shows that more people use railways, or more distances traveled by the inhabitants. So you can see in some of the countries that we already mentioned, this distance is higher. For some countries which is the color is fade, they use less railways for passenger transportation. And in terms of density of network, of course, not all the countries have the same density, and they don't necessarily need to do that, because some countries are very vast and some part of it are like deserts or not used that much. So, but overall, if the color shifts toward red, I mean, it shows that they're comparing to the area of the country. There are lots of railway lines, so we can see that one of these countries is Germany, that has a good network of railways compared to the area that it has. Europe is generally good. Then you can see other countries that are like China, India, US, Mexico, and these that have come nearly next, and the rest of the countries. So now that we had a general picture of the status of railways worldwide, now we go to what is AI. So we've already, I mean, heard a lot about AI. So to be more specific, what does artificial intelligence or AI mean? AI is basically, we want to simulate the intelligence of humans by machines. So we want to machines to be able to mimic human intelligence so that they can do the tasks that we humans used to do and machines couldn't do. So these tasks could be anything like learning from experience, because traditionally machines couldn't do this. They couldn't learn from their experience. They couldn't be intelligent and more intelligent day by day, just like human, that they learn, they don't repeat their mistakes. They stack up their knowledge. The other thing is understanding language, which is again used to be one of the things that only humans could do, but now with the invent of AI, machines can do it with a good extent. So understanding human language or being able to talk with human language, that's one of the areas that AI is about. Recognizing images, which we will see it has application in different industries, including railways, and mainly making decisions. So based on the data that you have, based on the knowledge you gain from this data, you would be able to make decisions. So these are the tasks that by the invent of AI, machines are getting good at, and it seems that in the future it would be better and better. We're already using a lot AI in our daily life. I mean, you've seen different extents of all these applications of AI. One of the first ones that we saw them a couple of years ago were these voice assistants of like Siri, Alexa, that they can understand human language, they can reply, they can do some of the commands that you ask for, like playing a song, like asking a question and getting the answers. So these are one of the early applications of AI in our lives. I'm sure you all use different sorts of navigation systems for finding your way through the cities, or to escape from traffic, or minimizing the time that you spend traveling. So these are like, again, AI, which can make decisions. We can find the right path for you. We can suggest the best route for you. Again, another application of AI. If you use any of these social media, or even online platforms like Netflix or YouTube or Instagram, you would see that the system, based on the previous videos that, for instance, you've seen on YouTube or on Instagram, they can suggest they understand what you like, and they can suggest contents which better suits your, what you like. So this is again based on AI that can recognize patterns, that can understand this information and make some decisions that what best suit your what you want. So then you spend more time in this, and they're really good at this. I mean, if you're not careful, I mean, you really get addictive to these platforms, because this AI is doing a good job to understand what you like. And of course, I mean, everybody likes what they like. So you spend more and more time on that. Facial recognition, some mobiles now you can use facial recognition to unlock your phone, which is again another application of AI. Predictive text and autocorrect is another application which in many emails you can see that based on the, I mean, even they recognize that whom you're replying, they put you the name of the sender of the email in your first line, or somehow they can understand what you want to say. They can suggest some sentences. So they're getting very clever. Spam filter in emails is another application that they can recognize that this email doesn't fit what you'd normally receive based on the several criteria, or the number of the recipients they had, or the type of email, the email address. Sometimes they make mistakes. If you have, you might have this experience that you lose one important email that by mistake it has been recognized as spam, has gone to a spam filter and you didn't realize. But most of the time they're doing a good job to do spam detection. Self-driving cars, I mean, which is one of the innovations that, I mean, like Tesla cars, that based on AI, they can navigate, they can do whatever the driver can do. So another application, and I'm sure you have been using different platforms like ChatGPT, Copilot, and other generative AIs that exist to ask you a question, help you with a task or something. So these are some of the AI applications that we all see in our day-to-day life. It would be good to have a brief history of AI as well. Somehow, the invent of AI, we can say that it dates back to 1950s nearly, which the term artificial intelligence was coined in a conference in 1956. And there is Turing, I mean, I don't know whether you've heard of Turing test, which is about somehow identifying the input, the output of a computer from an output of human. I mean, you can be realized which one is which. So these were the early stages of AI. They call 1970s and 80s really somehow AI winter, because for AI, we need high processing, high computers with high abilities for processing data. And because of the limited computer power during 1970s and 80s, this pace was a bit slowed down. In 1980s, expert systems were developing. Expert systems are much easier than these AI things that we are talking about. They just they again mimic the human intelligence, but you have to give them exact rules. So for everything, you have to extract, all the rules that a human being is using for decision making, and then you program that all these rules for the machine, and then machine can do like an expert. So it was a good progress for that time, but for now, we have much more advanced technologies. During 1990s and the new century, we have a good rise of machine learning, and one of the important events in this timeline is IBM's Deep Blue, which at that time could defeat Garry Kasparov, which was the best chess player in the world. This machine could defeat him in 1997, which for that time it was a vow for everybody that how a machine can be better than the best chess player in the world. And since 2010 till now, we have an AI boom that the computers are progressing fast. So AI is progressing fast, and we have various topics like deep learning, big data, by which we will going to talk about these terms. So now we are, I mean, everybody is talking about AI. And for instance, at university, we also have, I mean, too many applicants interested in data science, AI, and these things. And our university also launched the first AI program, the PhD program in AI, just about 1 month ago. And so if anybody is interested, I mean, they can do this PhD in AI. So all in all, it's, you know, rarely you go these days to a meeting that you don't hear about AI, no matter where you work and what you do. So that's why we choose this topic for this master class as well. About the hierarchy of AI, you've probably heard these terms in different ways, but it's good to know the hierarchy. Artificial intelligence we already talked about, which is we said that the machine wants to mimic the intelligence of human and can do the tasks that human do, like decision making, understanding language, and so on. What is machine learning? Machine learning is a subset of AI. As you can see in the image, it is part of AI or subset of AI. It enables the machine to learn from the data. Unlike I mean, if you, in your university, I mean, you did like 10, 20 years ago, if you done a program, I mean, you've studied any program at the university, or we obviously had some sort of programming that, I mean, it was difficult for many students, and it is because you have to do, I mean, coding, and it was difficult. You had to debug. If you made a very small mistake, the program didn't work or couldn't be run. But this machine learning, you don't explicitly need to do the programming. So that's a very good advantage of this. So this is machine learning. Deep learning, again, is a subset of machine learning, and then a subset of artificial intelligence, which uses a neural network, artificial neural network, that is, I mean, some models, computer models that have been, I mean, they try to mimic how human brain works. And I mean, we don't want, I mean, it's a course by itself. We don't want to go into the details, but the way it works, it has several layers, or as they say, artificial neurons, that they process information. They try to find patterns in the data, and we give them some inputs, and they give some outputs. So they can do tasks. They can process information by these layers of neurons. So that's artificial intelligence. Large language models is again a subset of deep learning, which is itself a subset of machine learning, which is again a subset of artificial intelligence, which is again a deep learning method, because it's a subset of deep learning, which is trained to understand text, or I mean, I mean, maybe understanding text is because if you know how LLM works, I mean, let's say it's understands language, but if you know, I mean, how it works, it's just they work with probability. The machine doesn't really understand what you say. It just works probability, and it's mathematics involved. But to put it in simple words, yes, it understands human language, and not only understand, it can generate human-like language as well. And it's very difficult to detect, because at university, I mean, we have some systems that can detect if students have used for their assignments these like AI, but it's getting more and more difficult to detect these LLM, and if somebody has used it. And LLM can be used in like chatbots. I'm sure you have seen that these automated chatbots or bots that in different websites. I mean, there's not really human on the other side of the line to answer you. It's just this chatbots that use AI to communicate with you. And so it somehow combines computer science with linguistics. Another term that it would be good to talk about is the difference between supervised learning and unsupervised learning. In supervised learning, the models that are developed learn from label data. Label data is that we already know the answers. For instance, let's say we have animals like cat, dog, and for instance, we know that cat is an animal, dog is an animal, but chair, for instance, is not an animal. So we already know the correct answer. Whereas in unsupervised learning is it's unlabeled data. We don't know that we as humans, we may not know the correct answers, and the machine can use techniques like clustering to somehow find patterns in the data. For instance, if we say that you're a bank and you want to know your customers, for instance, this AI can help you to cluster your customers into different categories, or for instance at university, or let's say in railways, we can make clusters of the passengers that we have, and so on and so forth. We've talked about AI. Everybody knows that AI is good, but of course it has benefits and some challenges. The benefits, of course, as we all know, is increasing efficiency, increasing speed, increasing productivity. We can do more with in less time. Of course, it's good. It can handle complex data, huge data sets, big data, which is again good, especially industries like railways that, we have a lot of data, transportation, industries that are data intensive. And of course, we can automate tasks. So instead of having humans do a task, I mean, the machine can do that task. But as we said, I mean, it has some challenges as well. The first and foremost is data privacy, security concerns, because you never know what, I mean, internet in general, but also, AI in specifically, there are concerns about how this data is used. I mean, whether when you're using different sort of, these things that we already talked about, how the data, your inputs, how they are used. Cybersecurity, of course, is a concern. There are some discussions and debates about fairness and biases in AI models. I don't want to get into the details, but maybe, for instance, depending on the country that this AI is developed, you might get different answers for different questions, or based on different things. So whether the AI models is fair, is unbiased, this can be an issue itself. About interpretability, about transparency, and last but not least, ethics. Because as we said, AI tries to mimic human intelligence. So part of the decision making in some areas comes with, morals and ethics. So how we want to transfer this knowledge that we have at the back of the mind to a computer. So now I have a question, so to somehow change the environment of me just talking. So I don't know whether you've seen this dilemma, which is also somehow relevant to what we are talking. It's called the train track dilemma, which I will explain, and then at the end I will ask you to type what you think in the chat box. So this dilemma is that we have a train, and there are, for instance, there are different versions, but the version I'm telling you is about that we have like a train coming, and 5 children, let's say, are playing on the track. They shouldn't be playing here. So there are, they shouldn't be here. They're having trespassing. But on the other track that is somehow abandoned, and it was not, I mean, forbidden to go there. There's another child, I mean, he's totally innocent. So if you want to decide what to do, I mean, if you turn the point, I mean, would you rather, I mean, of course, we know that the train cannot brake. I mean, the braking distance for train is very long. So will you choose to kill, or I mean, not for sure, not on purpose, but inevitably these five children, or that one children? Because, for instance, if you want to have autonomous vehicles, or if you want to automate things, we will have this problem of how the machine can understand it. So can I ask you to type either 5 or 1? So you would rather kill more people because they were, I mean, they themselves were, I mean, did something wrong, or for the better of the society, kill 1 people, but he was innocent. So can you please type that? Please type either 5 or 1. I mean, then we can have probably 1 or 2 people to explain from each side. Derail. That's a good idea. So for like, so from the group that said 1, can someone explain why they think that that innocent person, I mean, should be killed for the better sake of the others? I mean, can somebody please turn on the microphone and explain that? And then another one from the group that chose 5.
Please raise your
I mean,
hand, I'll unmute you. People who'd like to speak, please raise your hands, or there's an option. Yes, I can see somebody who's raised his hand. Can't see. Nobody has raised.
or if they, I mean, they can write in the chat box, I mean, why did you choose? Sumit, which one would you choose?
1.
Avinash, I think, has raised hand. Sumit, can you please unmute Avinash?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
It will be either emergency stop or it will derail. That is only the scenario I was thinking of.
Yeah, but we're just talking about ethics. I mean, yes, I mean, if you had to choose, because it can happen, for instance, for autonomous car, let's say for a Tesla car driving in the street, it can happen that somebody is trespassing. I mean, passing the street from the wrong point, not a pedestrian crossing. And I mean, the direct group, or I mean, what should the car do? I mean, so this can happen. I know. I mean, if the only choices were between 1 and 5.
Yeah, because in the dilemma, either the train will stop as per the function available as per emergency brakes, or it will derail. That will be the confusion between the system and the AI.
Okay, thank you. I think there were a couple of others that have
David,
raised hands.
I'm unmuting David to speak. David, please share your.
Hi, I'll be the bad person here. Obviously, the answer is 1. If there's only one option, it's either kill 5 or kill 1. I'm in safety. I want 0 deaths, but the obvious answer is 1, regardless of you can sort of take it. It doesn't really matter if it's 5 adults and 1 child, or five children, 1 adult. It's just sheer numbers. It's 5 plus 1 is 5 or 1. You always pick 1. Again, there's no right answer here. There's no wrong answer. I see in the chat a lot of people are out, get track detection, try get all this, get that. But the fact remains is you don't have it. So the choice has to be made. So the choice will always be 1. What happens if it's 5 sick people and 1 not sick person? Again, it doesn't matter. It's still the 5 to 1 ratio. You always take the 1.
Yes, thank you. Good point. Maybe 1 or 2 more, and then we can continue.
Okay, so I'll unmute Suman. Suman, yes, please, Suman.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes,
Hi,
I
hello.
agree. Yeah, hi. I will agree with David actually. Here is no moral dilemma. Means there is no universally correct answer in this case, but you will say that you choose to go through the track with 1 child to save 5 from a moral integrity standpoint. Yeah, because you have to make a choice actually. So you need to see how many lives you can save in this case. Yeah,
Yes,
thanks.
thank you so much for your contribution. So it may be 1 more, but then for the sake of time, to finish on time, let's, 1 more and then we move on.
I think I'm not able to spot whom I could. Okay, so Aman Anand, I'm just unmuting you. Yes. Aman. Okay, Kothat Raman.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hi.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hello,
Yes.
sir.
Yes,
How
you
will
can.
AI reduce manual losses in railway?
What is your option, Aman? Is it 1 or 5?
5.
Hi. Yes.
How will AI reduce manual losses in railway?
Yes, let's discuss that. Because we have not yet spoken about the AI applications in railway, because now we're just talking about the challenges of AI. As you can see, for instance, we are all railway experts in different ways, and you see that between humans, we have this challenge for this. So if a machine, the question now, the topic now is if a machine that doesn't have any emotions or this thing, if you want to him to make a decision in this case, how would we, as we can say, we cannot agree on the right or wrong answer, and maybe there's no right and wrong answer. But so the point now is that if you have your question is about somehow if it is similar to AI applications railway, which it would be better to discuss that at the end of the talk for the Q&A. Okay. So just to summarize, thank you very much for your contributions. In the classrooms, we are very happy if somebody asks a question or contributes. It shows that they're listening. So thank you. It seems that you're
Thank
not.
you so much for your cooperative behavior. Have a nice day, ma'am.
Thank you. So again, as some of you mentioned, there might be not a right or wrong answer, and sometimes this dilemma is taught in the philosophy courses, and if you like, it has different versions. That, for instance, the next question is that okay, if that one person is, God forbid, your child, or somebody, close to you, would you do the same? Decision. So it has very variance and. Which you can see. But as I mentioned again, the point is that when we want machines to make decisions, they don't have emotions there. And this ethics that sometimes we humans cannot agree on the right or wrong of one thing, it would be difficult to have machines decide in this situation. So that is part of the challenges of using AI. in different disciplines. Okay, to move on, and we are going to the AI applications in railway. We all know railway is complicated because it's multidisciplinary. We have a combination of civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, various disciplines working in railways. It's spread out across regions. It's very expensive infrastructure, rolling stock. Millions of people, as we saw in the statistics, use the railways daily, annually. Lots of industries use railways. We have 1 degree of movement for railway, as you again saw in the statistics. A lot of railway lines in the world, the majority of railway lines in the world are single track. So if something happens, if there's a fault in rails, or if there is a fault with a train that stops working, then we have something called, or a train is delayed, we have something called domino effect, which is all the, just like domino, all the subsequent trains would have delays. So railway is complicated, and of course we like to AI to help with this complexity, and to help us to take the to use the advantages of AI in railways. To be more specific, we have complexity of scheduling and routing because of this 1 degree of movement. For instance, for airplanes, it's much easier because they have 3 dimensions of moving. So it's much easier for air traffic controller to manage things than a train controller, because they don't have much options, whereas in air traffic you have lots of options, 3 dimensions to move planes. The cost of operation is high. The cost of maintenance is high, and if you have, if the downtime is, high, we would make a big loss. We saw the number of passengers of it is enormous, and the trend is also growing. So we have to do more with less. And the networks also, we saw that. We have. Depending on the country, we have hundreds of kilometers of railway line, thousands of kilometers of railway line. So it's huge network, and it's spread out. It's not just like a company that's in single place. It's spread out in different parts of the country. Even if you compare with air, railway is more complicated, because air, they have just airports, and they don't have anything. It's in a way, railway is complicated because it's spread out, and it's difficult to monitor them. So AI can help us. So now we go to the applications of railway, and I discuss about applications of AI in different railway disciplines. The first and foremost application of AI in railways is for predictive maintenance. As you all know, in railways we have steel wheels that go on steel rail, so the wear and tear is very high. Comparing again to, if you want to compare to road or air, we have problem for maintenance. So these machine learning models can help us to forecast failure, to reduce the unplanned outage, or we can have Internet of Things devices that help us to monitor different parts of the railway in real time. As I said, as the railways are spread out in different regions of the country, so monitoring them, it would be difficult, but with Internet of Things, we can gather data and process data. We can have we can collect data from tracks, from vehicles, from stations, from bridges, from different sources of information. We can do health monitoring with AI, which is again very good, because we can do predictive maintenance, and instead of waiting for the failure to happen, which is a conventional way of doing maintenance, we can predict where the fault is going to happen and reduce the downtime of the system. And detecting fatigue, cracks, deformation in the rail or other parts of the railway is another area that we can use AI. Computer vision in railways is another application. We can do track inspection. We can detect anomalies, especially in track. We can have real-time surveillance for security reasons, especially, for instance, we can detect a dangerous passenger or detect a suspicious activity in railway with the help of AI. Of course, I mean, we have a lot of stations, and I mean, it would be difficult to do the surveillance and the control by humans. So AI can help us to increase the accuracy of these sort of detections. And we can also monitor the infrastructure automatically with the help of AI by, as I said, maybe using Internet of Things, having cameras on the trains, or on the different parts of the infrastructure to gather data, and then the AI can detect the patterns and detect, if something is going wrong. Another application of AI is in train scheduling, which is, as I said, it's difficult, train scheduling of railways. When we have delays, it would be difficult for humans to consider all the aspects. So they can come to help and reschedule for the best possible option in terms of if there's disturbance or if trains have delayed. We can have, if the demand of passengers is fluctuating, we can use AI to adopt the timetable that we have and better manage the network congestion. We can do dynamic routing or rerouting if it is needed. If something, in a part of a track, if something went wrong, we can do, if there's a good network, we can reroute the trains to minimize disruption. So these are all the applications of AI in train scheduling. Energy optimization, no matter whether the railway is electrified or it uses diesel, we can optimize energy consumptions based on the data that we have, and so to be more green. Or we can develop, eco driving strategies, so the AI can advise the driver how to drive, or when to speed or when to slow down, so when to brake, how to brake. So these are the the things that AI can help us. We can monitor energy consumption, find patterns. Another application can be smart ticketing, which is very important. As you know, railways usually use a lot of staff for ticketing, for controlling ticket. If we can use a smart ticketing, maybe by, for instance, let's say face recognition, that would speed up things and reduce the number of staff that are needed, and also gain more information from the passengers. For instance, in a lot, nearly all the metros in the world, you don't know who is the passenger. You just buy a ticket and get on the train. So there, unlike the intercity trains, you don't know who the passenger is. So with these AI techniques, we can probably have more information about how people use these train services. We can predict passenger flows. We can have dynamic pricing. We can, with the help of AI, we can understand the patterns and have a dynamic pricing. So when the network is crowded, we can increase the prices. When the network is less crowded, we can decrease the prices, and so on. So this is how AI can help us with the smart ticketing and passenger behavior. Regarding natural language processing or NLP, we can have chatbots that can interact with passengers. So you don't need, you have less information desk or so. It can communicate with different languages. So it's not just like English or the language that is spoken in that country. It can technically converse in any language that you want, which is which would be very good improvement. So you can have a robot or a machine or even an app that can communicate with you in any language that you want. And if you don't know which station you go or what type of ticket to buy, they can help you with that, or through voice command or like typing or anything. In terms of freight management, it's difficult. I mean, at university, and if you know, I mean, in academia, we do lots of, mathematical modeling for train routing, for optimization of different aspects of passenger and freight. So with AI, we can optimize this cargo routing, delivery. We already talked about, timetabling and these things. So, or in depots or in marshalling yards, I mean, this AI can help us to find the best plan. And we can also do real-time tracking. So if things don't go according to the plans, the AI can help us to to have a nice, better plan. So these are the last two slides. This is from a very good paper that is a review paper about AI applications, and they have reviewed all the papers that have been published till 2022 about AI applications in railway. And their research shows that 57% of all the papers and all the research published in railways, 57% of them are on maintenance and inspection. So we can conclude that the major prominent application of AI in railways is in maintenance and inspection, which is a very difficult, as we discussed, time-consuming, safety critical. So that's the main applications of AI up to now. The second application is traffic planning and management, as we briefly saw the application. And then comes the rest. I mean, the application is safety and security, passenger mobility, autonomous driving and control. So these are the in the next ranks. And another categories of, if you want to see the applications by, subcategories. For instance, in terms of maintenance and inspection, 49%, nearly half of the research is done in defect detection, which is regarding preventive maintenance and finding faults. If they happen, preferably before they happen, and defect prediction, failure prediction. You can see for traffic planning, how about delays and conflict, train timetabling. So you would have this, in the recorded version. So I don't want to, because I think I've already passed the time. So to conclude, railways, because it's multidisciplinary, because it's an expensive industry, because it affects the lives of many people. It affects lots of industry. We can benefit from the applications of AI because of the benefits that it has. As we saw, the major application of AI is currently in the field of maintenance, and the second one is traffic planning and management. And as we briefly discussed, of course, AI has its benefits. It also has its challenges. It's not, it's not 100% good. It has some challenges, as we briefly saw. So we as railway experts should know about it and to use it, as appropriate, with the understanding of, by having a comprehensive understanding of its benefits and challenges. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Melody. Thank you for this wonderful session. And we had decided to take up a short break at 8. So we can take the break right now, and after the break, we can start with Krishnan's session. Does that sound good? Okay. So we'll connect at 8. Let's reduce the break by 2 minutes. Let's connect at 8 or 8:09. Let's start the session. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions in the meantime, please type your questions in the chat box. We'll take them up after Dr. Krishnan finishes his session. I think Krishnan is already connected with a lot of people in chat, and he's been answering a lot of questions which people are putting in. Okay.
Hello and welcome to the University of Birmingham, Dubai. As provost of this prestigious campus, an extension of a globally acclaimed institution known for academic excellence and groundbreaking research, I take great pride in welcoming you to the first top 100 British university in Dubai. I'm thrilled to invite you to a new and exciting journey. With my background in knowledge management and experience of working in both the UK and the Gulf, I contribute significantly to ensuring that we deliver on our commitment, creating a dynamic learning environment, helping you to grow and succeed. In choosing the University of Birmingham, Dubai, you can be assured of an outstanding learning experience taught by academics who are experts in their own fields. The quality of our education has been recognized locally in the United Arab Emirates through the CAA licensure, as well as in the UK, securing the highest rating of gold in the Teaching Excellence Framework. At the University of Birmingham, Dubai, you'll evolve into a self-driven learner, passionate about their field and poised to make a difference post-graduation. Our graduates excel globally, becoming entrepreneurs, CEOs, scientists, engineers, and much, much more. Ranked in the Global 100 for graduate employability, our alumni have gone on to successful careers in diverse sectors all over the world. I've already had the pleasure of meeting some of you, and I look forward to meeting many, many more. As we look ahead, I'm excited by the opportunities and advancements we will achieve together. I'm committed to fostering a community based on collaboration, innovation, and academic excellence. And I look forward to doing that with you.
Welcome back, everyone. Krishnan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, so can we have your presentation, please?
Yes, so let me try sharing this. Thanks. And can you see what I see?
Yes, it's visible. Please.
Excellent. So that's a good place to sort of begin with today's sort of session. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Krishna Venkateswaran. I'm an assistant professor of railway systems. And I've been I started out as a BTech in or a Bachelor of Technology in Information Technology back in India. And I worked in a company called GE Transportation. This company does not exist anymore. In that brand, it's now called Wabtec, or it was acquired by Wabtec. And I used to work as a systems tester on the locomotive systems. So people in the US and Canada who have ever heard of Trip Optimizer, I was one of the systems tester for Trip Optimizer when we were doing validation for the diesel savings that we could make. Ultimately, I realized that railways is a calling and railways is a interesting space to work in. So I went to the UK to do a master's in RCI, or Railway Systems Engineering Integration. Then I stayed to do a PhD in Railway Systems Engineering, and then took on various roles, resulting in my current role as a lecturer or an assistant professor in railway systems. We don't, as a lecturer, I think I work on a diverse range of subjects from signaling to hydrogen, and it's everything from traffic management to decarbonization, which are all interesting, important topics for the university and for me to be part of, and it's part of the global sort of cascade. We interact with both industry and academia. It's not just research grants that you work on for just academia as such, We also work with companies. We work with consultancies across the world in the center in Birmingham. Some of the places that I've worked with are like Indian Railways, Network Rail, RSSB, TFL, HPCL. I think UIC needs to be added to that list, and Railtel in India as a sort of we have had a tie-up in the past with them. So carrying on from the same theme that Melody was speaking about, one of the latest areas of research that I've been trying to work towards is this idea of validation of AI-based traffic control systems or agents. I realized a lot of questions in the chat were about, or at least Sarvana Kumar's question in the chat was about we are, signaling wise, we are at SIL 2 or SIL 3. How are you talking about AI-based traffic control or AI-based traffic management? The idea is that we don't get to the problem and solve it, but rather through research at the university, we are trying to look at what the problems can be in the future. We're trying to forecast problems in areas and sort of highlight the possible sort of like downfalls between the two systems. So it's this research is almost about 10-15 years out from where the industry is at this point. I think it'll become more and more relevant as we begin to see more and more AI-based agents being used for traffic management or traffic control systems. Traffic optimization, like Melody said, is a large problem because as trains arrive and depart across the networks, you cannot control one train to affect another train. You have large amounts of trains that are moving across your network. Traditionally, railways have sort of experienced two kinds of delays. We call them primary delays and secondary delays. If you break the domino effect down, you'll see primary delays, which are like delays due to dwell time. Somebody held the train a minute or 2 minutes longer than they should have at a station, a signal clearance where the train is waiting for a signal to clear, or a result of failures, a point failure or a detection failure is one of the more common sort of results, or train detection or track detection failures usually result in what we call primary delays. Secondary delays are those delays that are usually knock-on delays that a train experiences due to like some train running ahead that's late. And that's the domino effect. That is, you are late by 5 minutes, so the train behind you cannot access the same resource or the same track or the same platform in the time that it's supposed to. So it's also delayed by 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 2 minutes and so on. These delays are usually managed in 3 or more ways, and there's always some sort of like a traffic management system to help absorb some of these delays. So if you do delay management, you can do it in either using timetable. So you make more space in timetable. I saw somewhere one of the persons involved is a planner or a timetable planner. So what they would do is that they would look at the timetable and then try to find space in that timetable and compress the space, and then try to find out how much is the theoretical output of this particular network, and then how to sort of improve that capacity to add more trains. And then not use all the time. So they would then add margins for recovery onto the timetable. And railways do have this balance between what is possible and what is sort of like you have to balance theory and practice. So you have to have enough margin to recover, but if you put too much margin, then you're wasting capacity. So that's static in the long term. So once you set a timetable, in the long term, it's pretty much set. So any railway you go with, usually a timetable planning exercise is about anywhere from 18 months to 36 months. You need to find the route, you need to find the resources, you need to find the crew, you need to find the all the allocations, the traction power, and so on to assign to it. The next one is infrastructure design. This is much more fundamental. This is like building pocket tracks, building sidings, building extra platforms to allow for overtakes, and so on. So this is a different type of delay management. It's very static, but it's also very expensive to change. So once you have made your choice, you're pretty much stuck with it for the duration or for the life cycle of the operation. And it's very expensive to change that. Countries that have tried to get out of a particular design usually know that there's a lot of investment cost in changing infrastructure design. The last one is traffic management, which is quite dynamic actually. This is a more dynamic part of the system. This is how you can slow trains down, fast speed up trains, allow for conflicts to be managed by humans in the loop, and so on. So it takes one after the other. It takes quite a bit of time to sort of or one after the other. You can manage dynamically the allocation of resources on the go. And it's in this layer or in this place that I'm actually interested to, I'm actually focusing some of this talk on. So if you sort of like, there you go. So when you apply railways to AI to railways, you sort of develop a simple sort of single step environment. You run something called Q-learning based agent or a bot to evaluate the delay trains on a network. Initially, you sort of like begin by validating simple scenarios. A fast train and a slow train on two tracks. One is blocking the other because of resource conflict. How do you mitigate between the two? Or do you allow the slow train to overtake the fast train because you're losing time on the slow train, or you wait for the fast train to sort of like delay the slow train? And we have seen versions of it in real life. I was on a mail train in India yesterday, and an express train that was running a few, at least 10-15 minutes late was allowed to, overtake the faster running mail train because it was okay for them to allow the express trains to run ahead of the other train, so they could hold us, and it resulted in a 40-minute delay at the destination that I was supposed to reach. It's similarly, you can do load balancing between two branches of the railway, where you have a nodal sort of aspect where you have with two branches, you sort of manage the load in each branch with sort of like AI. And then you sort of running sort of like conflict scenarios in simulation to know where knock-on delays occur, and then applying AI-based agents to sort of tackle those knock-on scenarios or those conflict scenarios. Just going back to give you a little bit more introduction, Q-learning is a type of reinforcement learning algorithm. Reinforcement learning is basically where if you fundamentally look at machine learning or with sort of like these learning algorithms, reinforcement learning is when you sort of reward the agent for selecting out the characteristics that you actually like. So if the agent sort of like behaves in a particular manner to achieve the result that you want it to achieve, then you reward it with a little extra feed in it. And that allows you to sort of like refine the agent or the bot to behave in manners that you like. It helps an agent learn optimal actions in an environment. It is model free. Basically, you could apply a Q-learning sort of agent system that was trained on, say, for example, road traffic, sequencing traffic, and apply it to rail, or you can take it from the medical industry and apply it to the rail industry. It's sort of model free from that point of view, because the idea is that it would use the existing reward value system to sort of learn the next system. And it's based on the idea of learning a Q value or a quality value for each action in a given state, which means that if for each action you are actually giving it an incentive to choose one or the other. So the Q learning process is basically you initialize some Q values, observe the current states, and then choose actions A using a policy. There are many versions of these policies that we can take, and then you take the action, observe some reward, and then the next state, which is so on. So essentially, what you do is that in the equation that you can see there is that equation is looks complicated, but what it means is that you take the previous state or you take the next state, add some gamma value to it or a discount factor to it of the next state's quality being as good as the current state, and then you converge on the new state. So it's a simple sort of like if I really simplify it, I would say it's like compound interest, that every time you get to the new year, you earn some interest on the initial value or the previous state, and then that helps you to build a better system or a much larger base in the next iteration. And that's roughly the idea with this Q learning process. That's let me see. Right, I'm struggling with that. Anyways, we'll ignore it for a second. Right. So if we have so these are the core concepts as such. The S is a state, which is it tells us what the current state is. A is an action, R is a reward, Q is the quality factor, or the expected future reward of taking an action A in that particular state, and the learning factor and a discount factor. So the importance of future rewards. So sometimes the bot can choose not to go for the future reward because it will complete a particular action. And then alpha is the learning rate. So how risky is the system where it overrides some um, uh, old information with some new information. So how quickly do you want it to learn some new information over the old information? So which means that you'll choose something different. So in the railway environment, we built in GIM was very simple. It had a slow line and a fast line and a transition, and then we plopped some trains to go down this line as such. This is a representative of that line because we will sort of describe that line as with having sort of like in written words. So this is just a description of or a visual sort of like descriptor of that line. So the conflict areas were always on these junction points where these junctions come into play. And sometimes we could actually even get rid of, make a resource unavailable and study how the bots actually sort of like dealt with conflicts. This is a simulation, slightly older simulation of a large sort of network model that we have called Brave and Birmingham Railway Virtual Environment. And we've been applying this Q-learning to work on larger sort of networks where we have systems of trains with timetables on them acting, and then traffic manager agents being deployed to manage traffic within a particular area. And you can see that we can go into quite a lot of detail. So gone are the days where we had simple sort of systems with a simple lines with the transition. When you can have quite complex transitions as such. If you work for Indian Railways, then this is a example of your Jhansi to Bina section with trains running on it with ETCS, I think, in one of the trains, and then non-ETCS in other trains. So it's an example of a system that we can actually simulate. This is the easy stuff. The hard stuff is actually how do we know the AI knows, right? Going back to the Turing question, is the how do we know what the AI knows? How do we know how it has come to know something? And this is pretty important to know because from a human perspective, we can always look at training and certification for a person. I'm sure a lot of you have some training and certification already. And I know that because you did a particular course, you did a particular class, you have some certification, but AI does not, or the agents don't really know. We don't know any certification system for them. Validation and verification for the railway industry is quite challenging. And there's a hashtag at the back to sort of like stress that this is actually a big problem for railways validation and verification. And it's because, according to Pero, railways is a safety critical industry, like such as nuclear, because of the huge impact it has on public life. So if a late a train that is broken down or a train that derails has impact on 300 to 400 lives at the very minimum in some countries, and up to 1,000 lives in other countries. So it's a safety critical industry, just like nuclear. You have huge impacts. And when we use AI-based approaches, often it's not possible to check all the conditions, or it's too exhaustive to sort of list all possible critical conditions, which is the traditional way of doing it, is that we tabulate all the possible critical conditions and then go through and check what is the AI response to each of those. Sometimes they could be up to and exceeding 1,500 critical conditions and so on. And that's pretty exhaustive, and it's a lot of time. It could take you 2-3 years to realistically say that something is actually working as such. So the research that I've been doing is on an approach called scenario-based validation into AI, and it's actually quite well known in the autonomous vehicles industry. The autonomous vehicles industry, they do not go about, or you used to hear about people driving autonomous cars for miles and then saying it's safe. But that system is actually now come to be known as quite redundant because it's not possible to conclusively say something is safe or unsafe based on how far somebody is driven. Actually, what they're currently doing is this thing called scenario-based validation, where scenarios are discussed in the system. That is, you describe a scenario to the agent, and then you learn, or you read, or you sort of like read back the result, or the resultant sort of like approach to solving that scenario or a conflict. And then you verify if the conflict has been solved in the correct manner. And in the autonomous vehicle industry, this was done quite a lot. For example, if you have a ambulance chasing an autonomous car, and normally what we would do with an ambulance is we would move to the left or the right and let the ambulance overtake us. What if the AI system actually did not distinguish between an ambulance and a regular driver? How would it know to move out of the way? So, or how would it let a fire truck pass safely without getting its way or impeding a fire truck? These are all interesting questions that can do. So we're trying to use that approach into railways, into railway traffic validation, so that we can actually validate the really safety critical scenarios and present the learning agent with the safety critical scenarios to understand its response to those stimuli, to understand whether actually has it been optimized to reduce time, or has it been optimized to reduce energy, or has it been optimized to reduce conflicts. So you can pretty much sort of like this is one of many approaches to solve this problem as such. And that's where I'm going to leave you today with an overview of or a case study on AI in the railway industry. Sumit?
Yes, Krishan.
Yeah, so I think that's the AI part of it. And then there is the more sort of like more generic part of this sort of talk, which is more looking at the railways in the Middle East as such, and as such. So shall we take some questions before we move on, or to the more generic sort of like parts to a discussion about the Middle
Yes.
East and our course in the Middle East?
Yes, I think we can take up a question from Aman Anand. So he's asking, how does traffic management by AI increase the railway productivity? So, but okay.
How does traffic management by AI increase railway productivity? It allows for trains to be managed at higher speeds or at higher traffic densities. Usually, the limiting factor that we can see is a lot of time is that a lot of times um, the amount of people you can use to sort of manage the amount of trains that you have, and it's usually difficult for example, for AI to for a human operator to manage more than specific amount of trains in a region. So if you're going to think about productivity, then we can use agents to actually oversee trains in a much more sort of a systematic fashion, and we can manage more trains and make the human operator supervise the agents, and therefore only respond to highly safety critical issues, and therefore sort of like making the lower issues more routine. We don't have a straight answer, but the idea is that it will be more productive. Yeah.
Krishnan, in order to save time, we're already at 8:30. So I would suggest that we complete the presentation and then open the platform for questions.
Sure. Okay.
We also have to share the MSc program as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the interest of that, shall we? I'll quickly run through the railways in the Middle East, and then I'll yield to Melody to speak about the MSc program. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So railways infrastructure in MENA or Middle East and North America, North Africa as such, has sort of like really exploded. It's currently at about 25,000 kilometers, and it's expected to double by 2040. Initially, road transport has been the primary means of transport because it's a very difficult environment, and it's been difficult for people to sort of like or rail to lay rail in that region. But the technological advancements we have been having in the last decade or so have allowed us to expand these networks as such. So we are seeing more freight demand as such, and also a more passenger demand, new programs coming to the Middle East from a passenger perspective. and it's also seen an explosion in sort of like public transportation in the cities. For example, in Saudi Arabia, you have multiple projects in the various cities that are sort of like covering urban populations, all CBTC sort of like all CBTC projects with sort of like completely autonomous or driverless systems or GOA4 systems, if you're of that sort of bent. Similarly, Doha Metro has been for the World Cup. There was a huge push to deliver the metro line and the tram lines. So there's been a huge sort of a push in that area. Bahrain has been building its metro systems as well, and you can see it's a quite a two-line network in Bahrain, which is quite big because Bahrain itself is pretty small as compared to its sisters in the region. Cairo is another one. Egypt is going through modernization at a pace, especially railway modernization. Old trains are being replaced with newer, sort of like more shinier trains, and old systems for signaling have been changed. I'm sure a couple of you will be working in that region, but we are moving. They have started to sort of like implement the high-speed rail project within the region, which is quite critical for them. In somewhere close to home, which is for possibly Etihad Rail, we are seeing, for example, the Etihad Rail project, which is sort of connecting the ports in Abu Dhabi and Dubai and further into the country, into all the way up to Khor and essentially creating a network across the country. And this network is now also starting to see passenger interest. So we're trying to there's a new passenger model that's coming, and then of course there's Hafid Rail, which is going to be Oman and UAE trying to create a high-speed rail system between the two countries. Saudi Arabian Rail, like I said, there's numerous projects in Saudi Arabia, especially the Land Bridge project, which is the latest one. The Haramain was one of the bigger ones, but the Saudi Land Bridge is going to be an epic one because it goes across the just north of the empty quarter, and it's pretty much going to connect the Persian Gulf or the Arabian Gulf to the Red Sea and sort of move traffic and freight across across the continent. So sort of like unloading the Arabian sort of the ships that have to go around the Straits of Hormuz and the Strait in Yemen to get into the Red Sea. Yeah, there are more projects coming. There's the Egyptian high-speed rail, the Moroccan high-speed rail, there's the Baghdad Metro in Iraq. Then the line in Neom in KSA is an interesting project. The pod in Dubai is another one. Abu Dhabi Metro, Muscat Metro is being planned. But that's not all, actually. One of the biggest stories that people are sort of have to listen to if you're from the region is that there's 17 active sort of metro projects in various stages across the country in India. I'm sure you would have guessed I'm from India, and it's exciting times in India to see the amount of progress in terms of metros. There's a high-speed rail project between Mumbai and Ahmedabad that's under construction at the point, and we'll see much more on that. There's RRTS projects in Delhi and Bengaluru being planned. Delhi one has been the short section up to Meerut has been approved, but the line will actually extend much further, and it'll create an interesting suburban rail experience across the country. So that sort of covers the region, and this is the amount of work there is in this region in the Middle East for any prospective systems engineering students or systems engineering sort of consultants or um, people who are in the rail industry. Is that there is a lot of money being invested in public transportation, especially freight and passenger traffic in this region, and it's going to only be the start of what is actually a renewal across the sector. There was a lot of investment before the 40s, and now we're seeing a large amount of investment going forward from now. Yeah, I think that's all my slides for regarding that. I think I'm happy for Melody to share her slides again.
Yes, hello again. I hope you're seeing the question. Is it okay? I mean, PowerPoint? Yeah. All right. Good. So this would be quick one. I'm not going to talk too much like the other one. So as Krishnan explained, because of the huge investments in the region, in the railways and so on. I mean, the university the University of Birmingham has offered MSc Railway System Engineer and Integration in Dubai. So I'm going to briefly talk about that. And I also saw in the chat that one of the students from Birmingham campus is among the audience. I mean, he's from Canada. If he liked, I mean, after my finish my presentation, he can briefly explain about his experience and that. We had another student from Dubai campus, but unfortunately he had to go because it's a Friday and today actually was holiday here. So yeah, if anybody is interested, we can put them in touch with our current student. So I'm going to briefly talk about the ranking of the university, the reputation of the university, why railways. We are all railway experts, but it would be good to review why, because as I said, I mean, currently MBA, other topics are very hot, but why railways? I mean, if you or your son or daughter might be interested in this, why railways? About the course background, the modules, the timetable, and overall why to study at this MSc at the University of Birmingham in Dubai. So our university is, I mean, according to the latest rankings, is number 76 in the world in QS ranking. This was when the rankings was announced a couple of days ago. So this 80 was for the previous year. So this year is actually better. It has all the required accreditations, for instance, from the UAE Ministry of Higher Education. The degree that you get at Dubai campus is exactly the same as the UK campus, even it won't be mentioned that it was done in the UAE. So it's because the syllabus is the same, is exactly the same syllabus and exact thing. So the exact degree as well. In other rankings, we are also doing good in Times Higher Education. We are again top 100 universities, and we are top 3 best universities in the UAE. And railways, as I said, we are all in the railways, but we know this continuing concerns for sustainability, especially in this region that is very much road oriented. People, because of being oil exporting countries, the price of fuel might be lower, but it cannot last too long. So because of sustainability, we have to shift to more sustainable modes of transportation, because we know railways is safe, cheap, environmental friendly, mass transportation. And the good thing is that there are lots of projects going on, and because there is not much good pool of railway engineers, the job opportunities are very good. As Krishnan explained, there are huge investment. You can see some numbers here, and the investment that is being done in the railways. The Blue Metro line is the recent metro line that is recently started to be constructed in Dubai. High-speed railway between Dubai, Abu Dhabi, NEOM. I mean, I'm not going to repeat what Krishnan said, but all these somehow translates to job opportunities, because we need experts to construct these projects, to operate these projects, to do maintenance. So this translates to lots of job opportunities as well. Now, this course dates back to 1994 in Sheffield, that they realized the need for multidisciplinary education of engineers to be able to do well in railways. So since then, this MSc is being offered. It moved to our UK campus, Edgbaston in Birmingham City, in 2006. And because of the reason that I mentioned, we started to offer this course in Dubai since 2023. Overall, there has been over 1,000 alumni from 40 different countries. They're working in various railways, metros all around the world. The emphasis, as I said, is about systems engineering. So traditionally, I mean, railways was, I mean, people that were doing civil engineering, mechanical engineers who were working in railways. Whereas, as you know, we need, I mean, for a good railway, we need to know about mechanical engineering because of rolling stock. We need to know about civil engineering because of the tracks, because of the infrastructure. We need to know about electrical engineering because of signaling. So all in all, we need to know all about all the subsystems of railways, and that's what exactly this course delivers. We have modules on different aspects of railway, as I'm going to explain shortly. So as you can see, there are 6 modules in total. Railway operation management and planning, as the name implies, is about operation side of the railway. So whatever that's needed for capacity, timetabling, crew scheduling, everything that is needed for a railway operation planning, different levels of railways. Electrification and traction systems talks about different traction systems that are available, electrifying railway line, as you remember in my previous slide, that still the majority of railway lines are not electrified. So for sustainability, of course, it's better to be electrified. So this talks about that. Infrastructure and rolling stock, I mean, it's civil engineering plus mechanical engineering aspects of railway, the interactions between rolling stock infrastructure, different types of rolling stock, and track, and different things. System engineering is the overarching, let's say, umbrella that talks about how to see systems as a whole, how to understand synergy in the system, interactions between the system, and so on. Railway control and digital system is signaling, and business and people management is, again, soft aspects of railway, about how, at the end of the day, railway is a business, how to manage this business, how to see people side of it. So overall, the graduate would have a very good understanding of different aspects of railway. And they will do a dissertation, which is a 60 credit. All the other 6 modules are 120 credits. So they usually do research on one aspect of railway. If they're already working, so something usually relevant to their work, they do some research, reading papers, doing research, depending on the topic, doing simulation, tests, and various things that is possible. So if you do all of this, you can get MSc, Master of Science. If you just do the taught modules, PG diploma would be awarded. There's possibility of doing this full-time or part-time. Full-time is usually for people that come from abroad, because of course they want to minimize the time and effort, and it's suitable for people that don't work as well. Whereas part-time is for, I mean, if somebody works full-time, of course they cannot study full-time and work full-time. So it takes more for part-time, but the classes are exactly the same. It's just that they spend less module per year. So in full-time, you do all the modules, everything is done in 1 year, whereas in part-time, everything is done in 2 years. 3 modules first year, 3 modules second year, and dissertation is expected at the end of the second year. The timetable is suitable for people that work, which is the classes start from 6 to 9 p.m. so that they can go to work if they like, they can come. This year we're trying to have internship for the students that come from abroad. So if they like, they can spend the rest. I mean, if they're not working in the UAE, they can spend. I mean, they hopefully they can get some internship, paid internship, so they have something to do in the morning if they're interested to. But the classes start from 6 to 9 p.m. And the way our classes are run, we have one intensive week, which is for each module, 1 week in the working day, 6 to 9 p.m. In the weekend, the whole day from 10 to 6. They have, so in total, for this MSc, you have to do 6 weeks like this, plus 2 lab weeks, which we do the practical things and experiments. So 8 weeks like this, you would have, and dissertation is research you can do, I mean, wherever you want, and just be in contact with your supervisor. So why to do this MSc if you're interested? I mean, it's as I said, about in top 100 universities, and especially University of Birmingham is one of the leading universities worldwide and in the UK for railway education and research. They've got, I mean, huge grants. They are the largest academic-based railway group in Europe. I mean, any topic did you name it? I mean, there's a professor working on doing research on that, and especially in Dubai campus, I mean, just like the UK campus, we have very good collaboration with the railway industries, with RTA, Road and Transport Authority of Dubai, with Saudi Railways. We have 5 students from Saudi Railway that were flying to Dubai for this course, from Dubai Metro. I mean, we have very good collaboration with industry, which with Etihad Rail as well. So the graduates, I mean, have a very good opportunity. We can recommend them for jobs, I mean, for internships. So that is totally possible. And we have various faculty members teaching, including Krishnan. We have some flying faculties that they teach at this course. And the fees are, we can see the fees is 150,000 without any scholarship, but a good student usually can get up to 30% scholarship. There's another scholarship for people that come especially from developing countries, because this fee might be very high if you do currency exchange. So for instance, if people come from I mean, there's a list of countries. I mean, if you're interested, I mean, we can get that. But for instance, for India, if somebody is relocating from India for this course, not an Indian that is currently in the UAE, you're eligible for 40% scholarship. So this fee would be 40% of it would be deducted, and if you do part-time, you have to pay this in 2 years' time, and you can in 6 installments. If you do full-time, in 1 year in 3 installments. So that's reasonable. And I mean, just to emphasize the quality of this course, I mean, currently all our students are railway experts from different companies. I mean, this is a picture of our class. I mean, as I said, we have students from Saudi Railways, we have from Dubai Metro, from Alstom, from Hitachi, from Sener, Dubai Metro. They're all working professionals that have experience in railways, but they realize that this course is, I mean, adds to their knowledge, because maybe they're expert in one field, they want to learn from different aspects of railway. So this is popular. I mean, they already have their job, but they come here to learn more and get, I mean, promoted or find, I mean, even a better job or so. And there are some, I mean, entry requirements. If you like, you can go to the web page of the university. If you are in the UAE, we have open days that you can come to the campus. The next one is 12th of July. And feel free, if you have any questions, either contact me or the Summit team to, I mean, answer your question. Thank you so much for your attention.
Melody, thank you so much for this presentation, and I would like to take up some questions now. So let me start with Sura Abbas. So Sura is asking, is this program specifically designed for the AI systems that will be utilized during the execution of these projects, which Krishnan showcased in the Middle East?
Thank you. And if Krishnan, after me, if you have something to add, please feel free to do. Not just for the case of AI, I mean, we keep updating the programs, I mean, as needed, because, you know, even signaling, because new systems come, so we keep updating. So for instance, for the case of AI, we talk about the applications in different modules and so on. If you already have a master and very much interested in doing AI, I mean, as I said, there's a PhD in AI. But I mean, we keep updating the course with as I said, with the new technologies, and AI is one of the topics that in different modules we talk about. Krishnan, is anything you want to add?
I think because we are a research-based university, a lot of the examples that flow into our course comes from research, like, for example, the research that I'm doing at the moment. So a lot of that will sort of flow in from there, which means that you will be learning not just about AI, but also what not is AI. So this is a regular pattern that we will continue to have.
I have a few questions which I would like to take up. So, before we move to this particular question, I would like to ask you about the Golden Visa program, which is being currently promoted on the website. So, what is it and how is it related to this MSc program of yours?
Yes, I can answer that. A Golden Visa is a bit somehow prestigious visa in the UAE. For instance, even my visa is like short term is just 2 years up to now. But you know, Golden Visa is very prestigious. It's just I mean, very few categories can get a Golden Visa, which is part of it is if people buy property or things like that. And one of the categories is graduates from good universities. So if you're a good graduate from good universities, which our University of Birmingham is, as I said, in terms of ranking, is good. So our graduates, a number of them after graduations, they could get this Golden Visa. Well, Golden Visa is that it's a 10-year visa. You're eligible to work. You don't need to have a sponsor or employer. All your family, immediate family, they can work in the UAE, study in the UAE. So this is really one of the big side advantages of this course.
So there are a couple of participants who would like to ask questions. So John, let's take your question. You've been raising your hand for quite some time. So please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, so my question is around, I saw, on the chart you guys put up, the focus was on maintenance I understand predictive maintenance is a big area for most companies today. They're focusing on looking at how AI can, as a force multiplier in the predictive maintenance area. But there's a big component that, as I said, I spent my first 25 years in engineering. The last 10 years have been involved in security, and we still continue to build so many unsafe systems and release them out there. And this is a challenge. I think this has to be addressed at the grassroots level, in the design phase, I would say and even throughout the entire project life cycle. It's important that we discuss this because I do assessments constantly. We do penetration testing, and I can tell you, I've not found a single system that's unbreakable today. Honestly, and that's the truth. I think every system is exposed to a certain level of risk. There are some companies that have implemented security controls and some has not. And rail is no exception. I'm going to tell you that because I've done work in the railway industry. So my area of expertise is to really look at the safety and security. I just want to understand you guys, how are you addressing that in your curriculum? And is this a topic that you really want to make sure that people are well educated and understand going forward?
Thank you. Maybe Krishnan, it's better that you reply.
Yeah, I'll take that actually. Coming on to the first topic of safety, I think in the curriculum we go through a lot of safety tools, root cause analysis, in terms of sort of like looking at a systems level development of this one, in knowledge about defense in depth, or basically topics around building safety into these systems as such. And in terms of security, I think there's an emphasis in the course, although there's an emphasis in the course on cybersecurity, somewhere later, physical security, security in terms of access to critical infrastructure, access to, for example, the CBTC system, the access to the PLC systems as such. So there is a discussion about safety and security from the perspective of the module that we're doing. So because we cover almost all the subsystems in a railway, we then sort of like will cover safety and security from that perspective. So when it comes to, for example, infrastructure, we look at infrastructure security concerns or safety concerns and how you can address them. A good part of or chunk of the electrification traction module that we have, or the energy module that we have, looks at safety from electromagnetic sort of like um, compatibility areas. So that's one we are doing. As we bring in more AI into the curriculum, I think it's going to go and it's going to be more about countering vulnerabilities in systems. For example, using using a particular type of sort of like AI agent model to sort of to address a concern and so on. Yeah. So we are, the way we go about integrating the safety security is by actually sort of talking about it from a particular perspective.
Yeah, I'd like to connect with you guys after this because I got to drop for another call in a few minutes. But definitely that's an area of interest to me, and I'd like to talk to you guys about it because I am very actively involved in how AI can solve a lot of these challenges we're facing from a security standpoint. I think that's a big piece that I am really focused on right now, not on the engineering of technology for rail transportation, but more on the safety side of things.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Yeah.
John.
So how do I get back to you guys, or are you gonna provide your content somewhere where I can reach back out?
I think you can just Google me or Melody on LinkedIn, and we'll connect upon there, and we'll be happy to network.
Can you put your stuff on the chat so we can grab
Yeah,
it from
I
there?
will. Yeah.
Yeah, this way I can
Yeah.
reach back out to you guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, John.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you, John. I think I can see that you shared your LinkedIn profile in the chat also. So,
Yes, I did. So
yeah.
if anyone wants to connect with me, certainly do. And we'll be I'll be following up on this. Great presentation. Absolutely. Think it's yeah, but again, I want to keep this going, and I want to keep working with you guys in some capacity. Look at what you're doing in this space. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Krishnan, I'll take some more questions about the course program. So Venkat has been asking, is there any job guarantee after successfully completing the MSc course program? So you may like to answer this.
Maybe it's better that I take it, or Krishnan can. I mean, actually, it's somehow the other way around. I mean, we've been constantly be asked by the railway industry to, to refer them our graduates. But at least for, for Dubai campus, we currently, because as I said, nearly all our students are, they have full-time jobs. So they constantly ask me to send them interns or like refer them something for job. But as I said, they're all employed. So so there's more jobs that there's more people. Usually need guarantee when there's the other way around. So supply is much less than supply is, yes, much less than the demand. So and we would be very happy to help you. As I said, we have MOUs and with RTA, which is Road and Transport Authority of Dubai, and the metros are under the construction. We have a very huge project with them, a memorandum of understanding. Considering, if the applicant is good, because not for everybody, job is absolutely no problem. We do our best to support, but and don't worry really for the job.
Melody would like to also share some details about the internships options we are working on presently for the people who are looking at a full-time, looking at opting for the full-time program.
Yes, we have talked about internships. So with a couple of companies, major railway companies in the UAE, they're more than happy to provide this internship for our students, because as I said, they needed it. They need this expertise. The details would somehow depend upon the profile of the applicants, their experience. For instance, what do they know? For instance, some of the specialities might be better, let's say, for Dubai Metro, some of them for like consulting companies. Preferably we can do more detailed discussion if somebody has already applied and has offer, accepted the offer, so we can specify which internship is more, better for them. But we have this. It's perfectly fine. We have this collaboration, and industry very much needs internship, and in the long term, they can provide full-time job employments to them as well.
I'd like to put a question. Okay, so I think we're running out of time today, so I'll take up some more few more questions. And if you'd like to have a dedicated session to know more about this MSc program, please type in Y. So we could plan a short session of probably 30 minutes with you, wherein we'll take up questions related to the program. Venkat, thank you. Venkat, what about the rest? If you are interested to know more about, to have a dedicated session on this program, I've also shared an email ID on which you can write your questions, and we will plan a dedicated 30-minute session only about this course program, where you can come, ask, engage with the faculty members, clarify your doubts. We have a lot of points to share. One of the few of the questions is that, how does this MSc program compares with the UK program? Is there any difference? And what advantages you will be getting if you come to study in Dubai? So we've got a lot of questions which we'd like to share, discuss with you, share the insights with you to help you take up a right career decision. So if you're interested, we could plan this out. I'll take up some questions which I think would be addressing the key points. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask both Melody and Krishnan is that, how does this MSc program compare with the one that is offered in the UK campus? Is it having the same academic rigor and the degree recognition? Is it same or is it different?
Shall I go into this?
Yes, you do, and I'll explain.
Yeah. I think from a curriculum point of view, both the MSc degrees are very similar. What we are changing in between the UK one and the Dubai one, because there needs to be a change, we can't just run the same one, is this global sort of like overview. The examples that we are looking at is more local, while we are trying to speak about the standards from like a global perspective. So instead of talking only about a EN standard, we would look at what the global standard is in that particular area. We would look at issues that are more local. For example, sand in the Middle East is a big problem for railways, whereas it's not moisture, which is in the UK. So the infrastructure issues are more related to sand and heat and stuff. Or if you go to India, it'll be more about stabilizing the slopes and so on. You have to change your railway program according to the geography it sits in. So the problems are different. The invited people that we have between the UK and the Middle East sort of campus are different. So the people here are experts in this region. So they will speak about problems that are more relevant to the people in this region, which means that if you come on the course and you're trying to find a job in the region, you will already know what are the major issues that are relevant to the region, rather than learn about leaves on the line in the UK. You will learn more about sand or about heat or about the effects of having a wadi in the middle of your railway alignment as such. So it's a bit different from that perspective.
Okay,
yes, and if I may add a bit, Sumit, I think it's a good idea if we have a, dedicated, session for the people that are interested. And just to add to what Krishnan said, if you plan to leave or work in the region, Dubai campus, it would be better, apart from the reasons that Krishnan mentioned, because the group that you are with, or the guest lecturers that we have, for instance, we had guests from Dubai Metro, Etihad Rail, and this thing. So you make a community, although you could become the member of a community of 1,000 graduates that I said, but in the class you're with the people that you are working, can help you with your work. And now, for instance, our current students ask questions from each other because they work work at different companies that I mentioned. I mean, Alstom, Hitachi, Jacob, Dubai Metro. I mean, they're working in different companies, so somehow the synergies would be better. But that's one thing. And if that session is arranged, I mean, I can invite a couple of our students. I mean, if the timing is better, they can ask them to come and share their experiences, their work as well. So you just don't take my word. I mean, take the students, that are already doing this.
I think we will plan a dedicated session. I'll just take one more question. Is there a support provided for international certifications or preparation for roles in major rail companies through this particular program? So are we looking at the local demand and then preparing students to for those roles? And are there any international certifications for which we are preparing the students for?
This would be Krishna.
I think the idea behind the course is to take people who are experts or who are trying to become experts in the railway engineering and give them core knowledge about the railway system as a whole, which allows them to climb. The certifications are there as evidence for their managers and their companies to show that they're continuing to maintain competence. What we do or they're continuing to develop their competence in a particular area, because it's important to have skills and competences in that area. With the MSc as such, what we are doing as a support is that we're trying to lay the foundation work for your career in this area. So which means that if you go and do any sort of certification, you will get the basics of that certification or the sort of the questions behind this one, and it'll come down to actually just understanding what could be a sort of an addition on top. So you could understanding the basis of ETCS signaling will mean that when you try to do an ETCS certificate in one area of ETCS, then you might actually, you will know the whole system and therefore understand the interactions much better than a person who has not had any training or any sort of like basic sort of knowledge of that particular system as such.
I think with this, we can conclude today's session. And for all those who've kind of had to log out or probably could not attend, the recordings would be available on our YouTube channel. We'll send an email to all those people who have registered for the masterclass. You could also follow our LinkedIn page. You could scan the QR codes right there in front of you, LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook, and you could connect with us, and we'll post the recording link on our YouTube channel and LinkedIn and Facebook. So whichever is convenient, please scan it from your devices and subscribe, and we will be happy to post this by tomorrow evening or within next 36 hours. It will be there. Thank you so much. And people who are interested to know more about the program, I'm mentioning our team member Priyanka's email ID as well as a WhatsApp number. You may contact her. Can take up a screenshot of this slide and contact her. And so we will be planning it in next 2 weeks, maybe in the second week of July. We'll be planning a session on this, and Priyanka, we'll inform you on your email ID. So, and thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, everyone. We will also be planning some more masterclasses. So it will be good if you'll subscribe to our YouTube and LinkedIn page. We'll be posting notifications regarding our upcoming masterclasses. So we may be coming up with a masterclass on digital railways, as well as a specialized masterclass on railway operations in the coming months. So I would request you to please connect with us on the social media so that we could inform you and update you about the upcoming sessions. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice evening. Thank you, Dr. Melody. Thank you, Dr. Krishnan, for your time, and we look forward to connect again.
Thanks, everybody. Nice
Thank you.
session.
You want to flash this particular slide? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Please take a screenshot and you may contact Priyanka. She'll be able to help you out. And we will inform you about the session very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.